project scope management, a knowledge area dedicated to the activities needed to identify, manage, control, scope. Now, why are we doing this project? We have some needs. Now, these needs are coming maybe because of change in market, because of a business case, or because of any reason. But finally, we need to satisfy some needs or requirements. Now, these needs and requirements we are going to satisfy using a deliverable. Now, this deliverable could be a product, could be a service. So, let's take an example of a product. So, this deliverable will have some features. And while doing this work, we need to also manage various stakeholders, various government agencies, various environmental groups. We need to manage our own human resources. So things can be derived and this can be delivered to the end customer. So project scope management is all about managing this scope. The specification, the need required from a deliverable is called product scope. At the end, project will deliver this scope. But in order to achieve this deliverable, we would be doing many things. We would be providing weekly status report, for example. We would be participating in various exercises or workshops to capture requirement or to train the end user so they can use this particular product, or doing some market research. Now, what all we will do to achieve a product scope, or how part of work will fall under product scope, project scope. So project scope is a superset of a scope which includes product scope because it's a characteristics or output of a deliverable, and what all we are going to do to achieve this deliverable is considered as a part of project scope. For example, if I say that I need a weekly demo, initially we have not planned for it, but at the later stage, if client insists that I need a weekly demo of your development, now from his point of view, this scope is not changing, but your project scope is changing. Your human resource or allocation, your time plan will get impacted. So you need to consider that request as a change request, which is asking for change in a project scope. Or customer says that initially you were not responsible for deployment of the output at their data center, and customer says, no, I want this to be deployed at the data center. The output software, the product features are not changing, but your project scope is changing. Now, in order to manage, integrate, or identify scope related activities, we have project scope management knowledge area. And in this knowledge area, we have 4 processes in a planning process group, and we have 2 processes in monitoring and control process group. So planning process group, the first process is plan scope management. Since everything starts with planning, so we do a plan scope management. We talk about how are we going to manage, control, identify, scope. So plan scope management will talk about approach. Then the second process is collect requirements. This process talks about collecting these needs so that we can identify what do we want from an output. Collecting the expectation of our end users, customers falls under collect requirement. You may think that I am a vendor and I get the system specifications from my client. So do I need to skip this? Now the rigor of this process may vary, but even if you are getting defined requirement from your end customer and you need to develop that only, still the process which involves analyzing those requirements, asking clarification will be done here. Third, once you understood the requirement, you need to define scope. This process gives us a scope statement which talks about that this is how we are going to satisfy the requirements. These are the product features, this is the output which will make sure your need will get satisfied. Then we have a process called create work breakdown structure. So work breakdown structure is a subdividing the complete project work in a hierarchical format, and this process, because it helps us in managing, controlling and getting verifying the project scope, the work breakdown structure get created in this process group. So these all are planning things. Once we are done with the planning, in this process we have two monitoring and controlling processes. One is control scope and another is validate scope. Now, the control scope is a process which is responsible for ensuring that we are doing only the required things. We are not adding things which are not needed in this project. So it talks about controlling the variances against the desired output. Variances can come because of technical reasons, or could be the team thought of something differently than what is expected. Validate scope is a process where we get continuous feedback or an approval of finished deliverables from the end customer. So as we are done with part of deliverables or a section of deliverables, we get into the process of validate scope and we get it verified or accepted or get validated from the end customer or the person who has given the order for this project execution or the need which we are catering to. If we are doing an internal project, the validate scope may get performed with the internal stakeholders. Now, a lot of time we think that is there something sequence in it? Yes, if we are using a predictive life cycle, we cannot do the time management or other process related plans work till the time we have baseline scope. And while we are doing the scope management, these processes will go more or less in serial. The planning processes, the 4 planning processes will be, they may get iterated, but whenever they are in a one particular cycle, they will go serially. Like we will have a plan, then we will collect the requirement from the end customer, then we will define the scope, and then only we will be able to create work breakdown structure because they provide their outputs to the subsequent processes. The control scope is a continuous activity. It is not like it can only happen when a given point of time. Every time we need to make sure that there is no variance in our scope work. Validate scope, that happens once we have something ready to get validated as per the project plan, as per the expectation or an agreement with our end customer. Now, if you are following adaptive or iterative methodology, you may go through these cycles multiple times because we do things progressively. But if you are following a predictive methodology, you will do it serially. I would recommend till the time it is not mentioned in your question about the life cycle, you should assume a predictive methodology or predictive life cycle while answering the PMP questions, because if it is not specified, you can take an easy guess and assume that it's a predictive methodology. Whenever you want to change a scope, you need to go through a change management process, because changing a scope will impact many other knowledge area activities like time, cost, risk, etc. So in the subsequent lessons, we will talk about details of each of these processes.